All right, welcome to the Slice of Success podcast. This is Cameron Yorgesen. He's the owner of Knockout Concrete and Excavation, owner at Sprinkler Service Pro, and the entity over and DBA over those two is Alpine Landscaping, correct?
Yes, sir.
So Alpine Landscaping is the main business.
Yeah,
of
so
it.
Alpine Landscapes is the parent company, and then we have those other DBAs that we operate under. But
Awesome.
Same crews, same equipment, everything.
And you're still a realtor to this day?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Okay.
haven't done as much of that this year. Been focusing primarily over here, but still been helping
And then
out
a
people
dad of
with
3
that.
boys, right?
Yes, sir.
Rock on, dude. Rock
Yeah,
on.
keeps me busy.
I
on
got
my
3
toes.
kids now, and Spencer does too,
Yeah,
baby.
there we go.
So,
Yeah. My Porter just had my partner Porter. He just had his 3rd as well. So
wow.
look at that.
Dude, we're all getting old.
I know.
Yeah, dude. So let's just start. Tell us what's your story. Like, how did you get into this? Like, where did you begin? Like, after high school and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
let's hear it.
Yeah, so after high school, I went on a mission, an LDS mission to Peru. Great time. Then came back and started going to school. I always knew I wanted to have my own company. I didn't really know the avenue I was going to take to get there. I just knew that that's what I wanted as like an end result. And I had a lot of ideas that kind of went all over the place. But like initially I was thinking, I'll go be a physical therapist. And then I realized that the grand majority of physical therapists don't really make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, you got to basically go get your doctorate. And then,
Well, I literally thought about being a physical therapist too.
yeah.
I think a lot of athletes and sports players think about PT.
Yeah, and I had a great PT who was actually like, he lived in my neighborhood and great guy, Peterson.
Yes.
You know him?
Yeah.
Yep.
I skipped out when I broke my ankle.
Yeah.
He's like, you need to show up, Ivan. I'm like,
You're
I'm
like,
not coming. I'm good. Yeah, bad idea. I wish
Yep.
I would have gone. Because my ankle's messed
Still
up
messed?
now. Yeah.
Yeah, you should get that looked at, dude.
Nah, it's okay.
Just keep running your 3 miles on it
Yeah.
until it wears out.
So you went on a mission, went to school for a little bit. What did you do in the meantime for work and stuff?
Yeah, so I went to UVU. I actually started with civil engineering. Then was like, I'm going to go back to PT. And then I was like, I'm actually going to do entrepreneurship. During that time, I was working for Vivint, just like in their retention call center, and yeah, just kind of doing that getting through the first couple of years of school. During that time frame, I also met my wife, and after we got married, she had one more semester in Idaho, so we went up to Rexburg, and I convinced Vivint to basically create this fake job for me for a semester where I was just doing like literal copy and paste data entry from home. And it was in the winter in Rexburg, so I didn't know anybody. I'm stuck in this apartment, and I'm just sitting in front of this laptop, literally just going copy and paste right here with Netflix on here as I'm going back and forth. I watched so much Netflix that semester. But yeah, then when we came back, I stayed at Vivint for quite a while, even after we were married, until about 6 months before we had our first kid, and I looked for another job and found a job in a company called Force USA. They did like weightlifting equipment, squat racks, things like that.
Oh, cool. You get deals still?
Not anymore, no. But I did get some sweet equipment. They make really great stuff if you are looking for something, but they're just based out of Draper.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah. But yeah, and after that's when I got into real estate. My mom had been doing real estate for a while, and so had my grandpa. And I had some rental properties, and it just seemed like a natural direction to go, and did that for quite a while before getting into this. But
So you studied entrepreneurship at UVU?
kinda.
Kind of.
Did you
Yeah.
take the entrepreneurship class?
I
I think it's bogus, man.
don't think I actually. So I like put that as my major, but by the time I started making some money with real estate, I was just like, what am I doing this for with school? So I got my associates, and I didn't finish at UVU after that.
What do you feel like was the biggest takeaway from going to college?
For me, my opinion of college and my experience is, unless what you want to do directly requires it, I don't really recommend it.
Yeah.
Like,
I would say, like, for me in college, like, it wasn't the education system. It was the network I got from college.
sure.
You know,
Yeah.
like, I met so many people through college.
See, I
that
didn't do
really
it right when I
enjoy.
went.
Say again?
I didn't do it right when I went because I was like, get my class and go home. Like, I didn't care at all about
no,
being
dude,
there,
I was
you
having
know?
a good time.
Party college.
Yeah.
But
No college.
I also got like married pretty quick, and so like, you know, I had really like no desire to be there, you know, other than just get my class done and get out of there. And having gone on my mission and then coming back, I had a lot of like AP classes and things that like no longer counted. And,
Are you kidding me?
And so I was like retaking classes I took in high school, and so I was just like, I have like no reason to be here, you know?
Oof.
Like, I took AP calculus in high school, and here I am in math 1010 doing like basic algebra, and it's just like, man, why do I even have to be here, right?
That's
and
rough.
so
That's frustrating.
I felt
dude.
like I was just wasting time and money.
And I know how
in a
hard you
sense.
worked in high school, dude, because we went to high school together. And like, yeah, you were a straight A student, right?
Yeah.
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 And I had a 2.8, 2.6.
Yeah, the GPA doesn't really mean all that much,
It's
honestly.
okay.
It's
He's not
like,
even
what
a
do you apply
Lone
yourself
Peak
to?
graduate.
Whoa, hey, hold on. I went to Lone Peak, but I graduated from the district.
There you go.
Didn't have enough extra credits to get a Lone Peak degree. When I heard I didn't have to take ceramics to graduate, I was like, all right, cool. I'm
fair
out of
enough.
here. Well,
I don't blame you for that.
and then I called the school one day and got my transcripts. It was like a 2.7, I think, 2.6.
Yeah.
So
Dang. So when did you start doing real estate then?
Yeah. What year was it? I think I got my license in 2020.
Dang. So you bought some homes pretty fast.
Yeah, we bought our first home in 2018, and the next
Okay.
one in 2019, and then the one after that was 2020.
that's
Dang.
like the golden era to buy homes, dude.
It was. They were
Jeez.
low interest rates, and before like the spike of.
So what did you get your
Pricing.
interest rate at? What was the best one you got?
The best one we got was our current home, which I think is at like 3.1 or 3.2.
Jeez. Were you just doing the roll the equity into the next home kind of thing?
No,
or-
so we were holding on to the other ones and keeping them as rentals.
Nice.
And then we were just doing like a 5% down conventional loan. So
That is awesome.
What a
yeah.
dream.
yeah,
That's
it's
cool.
a good time. We don't have the rentals anymore. We had some medical stuff with our second kid.
Yeah.
And so he had a few heart surgeries, and heart surgeries can be expensive. And then we were in the hospital for a long time, and so I basically didn't work for about a year at that time. And so we liquidated those to make sure that we could, you know, I didn't want to go into debt with that situation. So I was like, hey, let's just,
So debt free from that.
yeah.
That's
Wow.
incredible, dude.
That's
yeah.
crazy.
What a man you are, honestly.
If you say so.
Dude, you are. Like, you did debt free. Did you have health insurance or anything?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We have a much more robust plan now
Yeah.
than we did back then, but we did have insurance. So,
Okay.
I mean, the max out of pocket was much more significant than
For
it is
sure.
now, because now I'm just like, well, we know there's going to be things in the future
Yeah.
that are going to come up, so we're just kind of planning for it. But
Yeah.
so paying the premiums up front now.
Yeah. Dude,
Wow,
yeah,
wow,
that's
that's crazy.
heavy. So you didn't work for an entire year.
Yeah, just about.
I remember that.
Yeah. So, I mean, we were up in Primary Children's, which is a little over an hour from our house, and we had another kid who was, you know, just over 2 years old at the time. And so my wife was primarily home with him, and then I was up with the other kid at the hospital for most of the time. And I'd like try to come down a couple times a week, but
Yeah.
with the Ronald McDonald House, if you don't sleep there, you could lose your room. So I
Whoa.
would go home, and then I'd have to get back before, and then anyway, it was an ordeal.
Wow.
So you're past that though now.
Yeah. So he actually has his next surgery coming up in, what's the date now? In about 2.5 weeks.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's like the third and final like planned surgery. So, that's obviously added just some stress and anxiety in our household. But
Absolutely.
I mean, overall, he's doing great. He's just showing signs that he's ready for that next surgery as he's been getting bigger and older. And so
Yeah.
we just know that it's time. So it's one of those things like you're like, he needs it, but it's also just like, he's having an open heart surgery on bypass. And so it's just
So from this situation, like, what have you learned from this?
yeah. I mean, one of the biggest takeaways that I have from that experience, honestly, is just that everybody goes through hard stuff. One of the interesting things about that is before he was born, my wife had actually asked me, like, what's the hardest thing that you've gone through? And my answer was like, honestly, I don't feel like I've really gone through hard things. Like, I've had things like not go my way, but I've never been in a situation where it was like, I just feel completely helpless and there's nothing that I can do to fix this,
Yeah.
Like, it's always been like, oh, I'll get the next one or whatever. Like, oh, that didn't go my way, I'll find another way to get it done. But like with something like that, it's just, when it's your kid, you're like, man, I would literally give him my heart if I could.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's nothing that I can do to fix this. And you feel so powerless and overwhelmed. And that experience up there is like, you know what? Like, everybody goes through hard things. Like, while we were there, I think I saw 4 or 5 people from our high school with their kids in primary children's, all like with different things going on, know? And it's like, I had no idea that they were even going through any of that, and it's like, wow, like what are the odds? But it's like, you know what? Maybe the odds are higher because at some point in our lives, I feel like all of us are going to have a moment like that.
For sure.
Something that we go through that's like, man, like how do we do this? How do we fix it?
Yeah,
or
like,
what's even the next right move?
With my seizures.
Yeah.
I literally did not know. Like, I thought I was going to have them the rest of my life. And luckily, modern medicine comes in clutch. And I don't have seizures anymore.
Crazy, man.
And like, that's been a game changer because I couldn't drive when I had seizures.
Yep.
And now I own a company that's purely driving.
Yeah.
What a flip of events, and what a turn of events. It's wild.
Yeah.
And so, like, things work out, but tribulations are going to happen to everybody.
Yep.
I had a question for you.
Sure.
Obviously, with owning a business, like there's just innately a lot of stress and anxiety that comes from that. Going through what you went through with your kid, I couldn't even imagine it. How have you handled, or like what have you done to deal with that stress and anxiety? Because that's next level, man.
Yeah. I don't know if I have a great answer for it because I think part of it is a bit of just my personality type of how I handle issues. Not to say that there were moments that were absolutely crushing that I didn't even let my wife know about, because I felt like I also had to be there for her in that whole situation. But
I feel that.
This all happened before we, went into this company and things. So this was primarily real estate. And so I also didn't have like employees or people who depended on me to do my part or anything either. So it was kind of one of those things that like, I was like, you know what? We have some reserves. We have these rental properties and I'm just going to focus on my kid and my family. And so I just kind of put everything on hold, Now my mom does real estate as well. So when I did have like a lead or somebody who was interested, I'd be like, I honestly can't help you right now, but here's my mom. And if they ended up doing something, I did get like a little bit of a percentage from that. But for the most part, not a whole lot of revenue coming in during that time.
That's crazy.
But really, I just kind of have the personality type or maybe it's even just like a coping mechanism of it's like, I'm just going to focus on what I can do. And I kind of hyper focus on that because if I start going into all the other things, those other things are still there. Like I still have moments where I'll be driving home and I'm just like, like this is not fair that he has to go through that.
Yeah.
That it's like if I could like take that from him and just let him just have a normal life. Cause there's unfortunately there's not like a cure for what he has.
Yeah.
So he has hypoplastic left heart syndrome, which basically means the left side of his heart didn't develop. So all these surgeries, what they're doing is they're changing how the circulatory system works to compensate for the fact that he only has one side of his heart that pumps. And so it's a series of surgeries to basically make the most out of what he's got there so that it can function, but there's downsides, right? And it's like you don't know exactly how his body's going to respond. Also, the surgeries are like relatively new in terms of like, you know, history with like medical and innovation and things. Like they didn't really start doing these surgeries until like the 80s. And so the oldest people who are alive are, you know, from late 80s and that kind of time frame. So they don't really have like data as far as like how successful are these long term. And so it's like he could do really well. He could be, you know, get to his 30s and still have his original heart. Or it could be, oh, he needs a transplant. We get on the transplant list because things aren't working the right way or he's having some other side effects. And so I still have moments where it's just like, you know, it's just frustrating and you just feel that pain all over again, right? Yeah. But I really just try to focus on like, okay, I'm like, he's here now. He's doing well. If you didn't know and you were like here, like, and you saw him, you wouldn't know that, you know, something else was going on unless somebody told you about it. And so it's like I try to focus on like, okay, he's doing well. We knew this other surgery was going to be coming. So if it follows the same pattern as like his last surgery that he had, he'll have a pretty decent recovery and it'll actually be an improvement because right now he only actually only half of his blood actually goes to the lungs at all. The rest is just recirculated. So his oxygen levels his baseline is like 74, whereas ours is like 98, right? So he's just operating at this diminished capacity all the time. Like if we were in that capacity, we would be... So is he
probably like low energy and things like that?
He just gets winded really quick and lower energy. His skin is a little bluish tint because his blood's not as oxygenated as ours is. And so he just has a hard time like keeping up with his brothers and with friends when they come over. And so this next surgery will make it so all the blood goes to the lungs. It's just nothing's pumping it there. So there's other complications that can come with it. But in theory, it would be a big improvement, you know? So.
Dang. Wow. Yeah, it's an interesting perspective to hear from you because like when I had seizures, I went through like some surgeries and stuff like that. And they never give you a guarantee. Right. They never will. Yeah. And like, luckily I came out with the best case scenario for my seizures. Yeah. That was awesome. But I had them for 17 years. Oh, I know. And so like, did you ever see one?
I never saw one. No.
Yeah, like in high school, it was wild.
I remember hearing about a few, but I wasn't with you there when that happened.
Like in high school, I think I had like one or two. But I think it was really due to exercise and stuff at the time. That was like when I was in my best shape, and now I'm just a chubby dude.
Would the exercise trigger it?
No, the exercise actually made me not have any.
I see.
And then I got on my mission, and I was still in pretty good shape from football and everything. Yeah. And then when I got home from my mission, I was like so out of shape. All of a sudden, I was having seizures weekly. It was crazy. Sheesh. And like so, they just came back out of nowhere. I thought they were done, but hearing it from like a parent perspective compared to like being in the situation myself, like obviously mine's brain and like neurology and it's, you know, cardio or cardiovascular. It's a totally different thing. And I would take mine all day over being a parent. So like I give you credit all day long for being strong because that's way harder because you can't control it.
It is hard. It's like you would take it. And I'm sure your parents would be like, oh, I would take this from Ivan, you know, if I could. And it's just like, you just feel kind of helpless.
My dad, maybe not my mom.
She's like, he earned it.
Yeah, he deserved that. But rock on. Let's eat that pizza real quick. This is a New York slice from Springville, Utah. And let's rate this.
Favorite pizza place in Utah County.
There we go.
No, whatever, dude. You like Domino's? It's a little cold.
I've been sitting for about 45 minutes.
That's still pretty
Logan,
good.
Pretty good, though.
Slice?
Yeah, that's still good.
Oh, okay.
Especially for a plain cheese.
Yeah.
So,
we're big pizza connoisseurs.
this is actually one of their better ones. Nice and thin. One of the things about the last podcast is Ivan was really happy about the noise
Oh, I hate it.
that the pizza would make.
Oh, man.
All I hear is detailed shoot.
I'm dead.
You should save that audio, and you could probably sell it like on
What'd you
different
give it?
platforms.
7.2.
So like
But it's
stock
cold.
audio.
Like, I would give this an 8.1 on a normal day.
I give it
Hot out of the oven, so good.
7.3.
Okay, but what about that day that you and I ate it in front of the building? Still 7.3?
Not as good as Bellagio's.
Well, yeah, it's not as good as Bellagio's, but what is it as its own? What did you give Bellagio's?
An 8.1.
Okay, 7.3 is fair.
What do you give it?
It's hard to judge off a cold pizza.
I know. Well, that's how we make the judgments. It's cold pizza now.
Well, judging based on the fact that if this was a Little Caesars and it was cold, it would be literal cardboard. I'd say, I think I'd give it an 8.
Ooh.
That's a good score. This is in your neck of the woods, kind of.
Yeah.
Elbridge is super close to Springville.
Basically, anything south of Provo, I consider my neck of the woods.
That's right. Us country folk down
There
there.
we go.
Got to get over to the livestock show.
I haven't eaten today. This is so nice.
I had 2 burritos before this.
Like freezer burritos or burrito burritos?
No, burritos that were in our fridge that I heated up in the microwave for 2 minutes. Our office manager made them for breakfast.
They're so good.
And Ivan kept saying, "Stop eating burritos!" Because we were doing this later. This is a good pizza. This is good. I call taking it home.
Oh, the crust is good.
It's very good. Well, I'm going to eat this when we're talking, so.
So tell us about alpine landscaping.
Yeah,
Tell us about alpine landscaping.
Yeah.
When did you get the company?
Uh-huh.
What you're doing? The whole story.
Sure. So a little over a year ago, well, for a while, actually, I had been looking for a company. I actually was looking to acquire one. I had been doing, my own research and things and talking with people. And the idea, officially like developed of like, okay, yeah, I think I want to acquire a company rather than, going pure startup. And so I had just been looking for a while. I primarily did want to find something that was more in like service businesses and trades because there tends to be a shortage of those types of things. And also with the economy we have in Utah, there's just tons of development, tons of growth. We have a population that grows organically. We also have a population that grows from people moving in.
Yeah.
And so the forward projections just show that like, hey, there's going to be a lot of opportunity here in this kind of an industry. So that was something I was specifically looking for.
Sorry, real quick. When you made the decision that you wanted to buy, had you read the book? There's a book called Buy Then Build.
Yeah. Yep.
Money.
I
Good
think,
one.
did we talk about that actually? I think we did.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, because I was trying to look for more information on it too, and I think that's when we were talking as well, and you recommended it. So I did read. I've actually read that a few times through, just as I was trying to figure out what exactly I was looking for.
That's Spencer's one of his favorite books.
I recommend it all the time. When people are like, "Oh, what should I do?" I'm like, "I think you should read this."
Yes, absolutely.
But yeah, and then we eventually found this company that was listed, and it was a landscaping company, and just going through our due diligence and things, I was like, yeah, I think this is the one that we want. But those were the DBAs that we now have of Sprinkler Service Pro and Knockout Concrete and Excavation. And it showed a lot of promise and things, and we just kind of went for it. Porter, but I have a partner, his name's Porter, and I had approached him just because I was just looking at things. I'm like, if there's anybody I feel like I could do this with and who would be like a great partner, it would be him. And so I reached out to him, and we sat down, I don't even know how many times, just kind of going through things from the whole process. Basically, I kind of initiated it, and I was looking to basically do it myself anyway, but I was like, you know what, like Porter would bring a lot of benefit, and just he's a hardworking guy, he's a smart guy, and I was like, if you can get somebody like him to go in on something with you. Sure, you're not doing it 100% yourself now, right? But who cares? Because that's going to help you exponentially in the future, right?
Oh, dude, like when we bought this business together, people always warned us about partnerships and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it's been the greatest thing that we've ever done.
Yeah.
Like, because, you know, we both had this thought, like, would I do this on my own? No.
It would be so hard on your own.
Yeah.
It's funny because
Well, are you different, huh?
before we got into it together, I think we both had the thought of, I could do this on my own.
Mm-hmm.
And then getting into it and trying to do what we're doing and grow the way we want to grow.
Yeah.
It's like, I would rather die.
Yep.
Like, no way.
Yep. That was 100% my experience too. Cause I was even like, you know, like if Porter doesn't want to do this, like I'm still going to do it. And then, you know, getting into it, I'm like, holy cow. Like I can't even imagine doing this without having that partner
Yeah.
in what we're trying to do, and to divide and conquer, and also like help each other out when one person is swamped with something else. And it makes all the difference.
So how do you know Porter? Is he
Went to school with him. So
okay.
we played basketball and football together, and but yeah, all through high school we were really good friends.
That's awesome. And what made you feel like he would be a good partner?
Yeah. So I mean, our experience as friends, and I mean, we, like I said, we played basketball and football together. Like we were team captains together. I just knew that. I mean, I know the kind of work ethic that I have, and I knew the kind of work ethic that he had. And I'm like, if he is committed to it, like he is going to be right there with me. You know, what you don't want is you don't want a partner who you feel like you're going to be dragging to the finish line, right? You need somebody who's also going to be just as motivated and just as into what you're doing. Otherwise, I think that's where you end up getting fractures, right? Because you get people who have hard feelings, or they feel like, oh, this person's not carrying their weight, or they're not doing their job. But if you have somebody who's just as committed as you are, then that's a game changer.
So how do you manage that partnership, like when you guys have issues and stuff like that?
Yeah. I mean, generally, like personally, we don't tend to have a ton of issues like with each other. It's more of just like issues within the business that we're trying to solve together. But I think a lot of that too, though, is, I mean, we maintain open communication as well. Just like how we try to do with our clients, right? Like we maintain open communication between each other and what's going on, what our thoughts are, what our feelings are, or how we feel about, you know, this X decision that happened here. And so I feel like by maintaining that open communication between each other, it eliminates the possibility of a lot of other things like festering or creating bigger issues down the line. We also, I mean, this year we haven't been great at it, but it's something that we tried to do, and we're going to continue to try to do better, is essentially have like a companionship inventory where we sit down and we're like, okay, like, how did you feel about how, you know, things have gone this last month? Or, you know, what's things that we can improve? Is there something that's like a pain point for you, or whatever it is, so that we can make sure that we're constantly improving and making sure that we're not like trying to steer the ship in two different directions, right?
For sure. No, like the benefit that you had when you went into this is that you actually already knew Porter.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a win right there.
Yeah.
It was insane with us is because we were just coworkers at the time. And
that is crazy.
I just spilled all my problems to Spencer like the first time I met him and his wife.
Spencer's sending you a bill for therapy.
Dude, yeah, it was. We got into it, and we were still kind of figuring out how to be partners. And Ivan was like, "We're gonna sit down and we're gonna tell each other everything." And I was like, "No, what is wrong with you?"
I'm like, I'm gonna tell you who I am.
Yeah.
Good luck, and you can either accept it or not.
It's been so good ever since then.
Yeah, like I'm a deep believer that if you have trust in the relationship, it's gonna work.
Yeah.
And so you can never break that line of trust. Mm-hmm. And if you do, then you have to admit to it that you did and be sorry. And you also have to be forgiving on the other end. Mm-hmm. And so trust is very key.
Yeah, if you can't trust your partner, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Like you have to have complete trust that no matter what they're doing, even if it doesn't work out, that they're doing it with best intentions, that they're doing the right way. You have to trust that you're working with somebody honest. If you have an inkling that they're not, that's not going to work.
Yeah. Sometimes we joke that our relationship is sometimes better than me and my wife's. Because we're two guys and we can talk about our problems. Are you okay? No, I'm not okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's unreal. That's a dangerous thing to say. But like,
I know.
Maybe a better thing would be like more efficient at getting stuff.
What up,
done
Haley?
Related to business.
Yeah. Cal, he said it before.
He's just like, screw you.
I'm just kidding.
That's funny. What do you feel like has been the biggest benefit of having a partner?
Biggest benefit of having a partner, I think it's having somebody else there who's just experiencing the same stuff you are, because it can be so overwhelming. I mean, so with the acquisition that we had, I mean, I've talked with you about it a little bit, but I'm not going to go in like all detail of it. But there were things that didn't go how we anticipated, right? And those first few months, I was like, holy cow, like this is going to crash and burn. I just leveraged everything that I own and it's all gone. You know, like I was in a pretty big hole, and to be in that hole all by myself would have really sucked, you know?
Yeah.
To have somebody else there where we could actually just express like what's going on in our head, who can equally relate, you know, that makes all the difference, because it can get heavy. It can get heavy and it can get lonely if you don't have that. Yeah, I think if you want peace of mind, that's not the route having a business isn't the route you want to go.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, for sure. So like with having employees now and everything,
Yep.
managing those relationships, what's like one of the biggest learning points that you've had having employees?
Yeah. I think when it comes to having employees, I think it's just really important to make sure that they feel prioritized, you know? And I don't think that we've done an amazing job with that, just because, you know, what we jumped into, we felt like we were just putting out fires everywhere, like almost instantaneously. And so it almost didn't even seem like there was like time to do that. And we really want to make more of an effort, you know, moving forward, to make sure that like people really feel valued and appreciated, because if they feel valued and appreciated, that's where they're going to give you their best effort, right? Mm-hmm. And then it's kind of similar. You want to hire people that you can trust, and people who actually exemplify what you're trying to build. If you're hiring outside of that, it's going to make it really hard to build what you're trying to, because anytime you try to implement something new, or you try to make a change, or you try to improve something, it's almost going to feel like there's this barrier there, because you know, so-and-so can't do that, or they won't do that. And so now you're hitting these limitations just because, you know, you've got the wrong person there. And so it's really important to focus when you're doing your hiring and stuff, that you're bringing in people that are also going to be helping you move in that same direction. Yeah.
No, we're a deep believer. We pay a high commission for high achievers.
Yeah.
You know, like a higher salary.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so we are above average, like in the industry for like service experts, that's what we call them, but technicians.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But we expect more. We expect them to work harder than any other tech in the industry.
Yeah.
But they get paid well. And yeah, we just set that standard, and dude, it's awesome.
Yeah. But it's going to help with turnover. It's going to help. They're going to want to stick around. They're going to want to do a good job. They're going to feel valued, and it just improves the whole system.
Yeah, we've discovered a lot over this year, just because, you know, there's been points where there hasn't been good leadership. There's been points where I haven't been a good leader too. Mm-hmm. And sometimes there's this, who is that guy that we were listening to yesterday? That video I sent. It's called being a servant leader in a way.
Yeah. Are you familiar with like servant leadership?
No.
How do you define that?
I mean, I can kind of
So
get an idea of
servant
it.
Servant leadership is that you kind of take the stance of, I'm here to serve my people. I'm going to lead them by serving them.
King Benjamin.
Yeah.
which it has some benefits, but I think there's what this video is talking about is the pitfalls of servant leadership, and how what it can do is kind of create this reality where as you're trying to serve, you're overlooking different things that cause you to not succeed the way you should be succeeding. And you start to prioritize things like comfort, things like stagnation,
Overgrowth.
over succeeding and maintaining the vision of the company.
That makes sense.
And so I thought that was kind of interesting. I was going to ask you with how you were talking about making your people feel valued, making your employees feel like they're valued and taking care of them. How do you kind of balance that? You know, this is our vision, and we need to do these things to get there. But I also hear you and want to make sure you're taken care of.
Sure. I mean, I think like with the phase that we're in right now, we've definitely erred on the opposite side of that, of just like, we're just going to get work done and we just need to make sure that it gets done the right way. And we've been trying to pivot a little bit more toward the other side of like making sure that our guys are taken care of, that they're doing good. It's not so much that like they've like complained or things. We've just like looking back, we're like, you know, like we haven't done some of the things that we feel like we could have to just make sure that like, you know, check in with them more frequently, make sure that they have what they need, that they're good to go. We're just kind of assuming that they are, right? And I think if we were to do that, especially as we scale, because we've got plans to grow pretty significantly, and so what worked now, I'm thinking, might not work quite as well as we have, you know, 3 times the number of employees compared to now. Like, because right now we're a really tight knit group as far as like our employee base. So as that starts to expand, they're not going to have the same relationships that these other guys have with us, and we need to make sure that, you know, they all feel like they're a part of the team.
No, absolutely.
Do you have anyone that is a carryover from buying the company?
One.
I bet money he'll be gone by next year.
Actually, he's a great guy.
Really?
Yeah.
What's made him stick around?
He is just a super hard worker.
Really?
He's the kind of guy that like
So
I
he
have
can
to call
adapt to
him and I have
your-
to be like, dude, go home. Like,
Yeah. So
we'll
he
get it
adapts
tomorrow.
to you guys. Like he's
Yeah.
adaptable.
Yeah, he's great.
Okay. That's the only characteristic that works after someone acquires a business, is if the employees are adaptable to change.
Yep.
Unless the business is acquired with the intentions of doing what it was doing before.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
But
most people
nobody's
buy
gonna do
businesses
that.
to change,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I mean,
grow or
we
to-
had some intentions of keeping it the same way. It just, when we got there, it didn't really work out that way.
Yeah.
You know?
No, we keep the same values that were in the company before,
Sure.
but we're going to make sure that we're going to be as efficient as possible.
Yeah.
And some people don't like that. You know?
Right. Well, when people have been doing things for a couple of years in a place, and all of a sudden, you know, expectations change, I could see how that's
Yeah.
frustrating, because
Well-
they get comfortable. They know their routine. They know how things are done, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, Ivan says you got to do it this way now.
Yeah.
He's like, that's not comfortable for me.
Well, yeah, I'll give you like a perspective on it. Like when we bought this, people were averaging about 12 to 14 services a day. Mm-hmm. Our guys are doing about 20 to 25 a day
Oh wow.
now. And so when we have done that, one, like you make that change, it's very hard for service experts. They're like, wait, this was so comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, we just gave you this raise
Yep.
where you're top tier now. We got to have top tier performance because we got to keep up with our labor percentage now.
Yep.
And so this is what we expect.
Yeah.
And so that change, you know, it
Weeded out a few
it
people.
weeds
I
out
imagine.
people, and then other people adapt to it. You know,
And then when you bring in people in the future, there's already that set expectation.
Yes.
They're around people who are also with that expectation, so now that's just a norm.
yes,
Yeah.
But there's a transition period.
yeah, and it's hard because like you have all these emotions and you're grateful for that your people, but you got to do what's best for the business so you can provide for your family
Yep.
and help them provide for their families.
Yep.
And so
If the business
Pushing-
doesn't make any money, then everybody
Yeah.
loses.
so like you got to push growth all the time.
Yeah.
So you can bring more money to the table for everybody in your company. And you start doing that, people don't want that. And it's like, dude, you don't see what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to bring more value to you and to your family, but also to the business as well.
Yep.
And so, like, they just don't see it that way. Some people want to look at it as like a 9 to 5, and that's it.
Yeah, and
which
and
isn't
sometimes
bad.
I can't blame them, right?
Yeah.
Because they're not in the shoes that we are,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Like they haven't had the days where it's 10:30 at night, they're still at the office, and they're just looking at things. They're like, "How are we going to make this work?" You know,
for sure.
like that hasn't happened to them, and so they only see one side of it. And so when somebody comes in and changes things up and says, "Hey, these are the new standards," to them, they're just like, "Why?"
Yeah.
You know, like everything was fine before, but
No, for sure.
they don't see everything that's happening behind the scenes.
So, like, what are your goals next year with the business then?
Yeah. So right now we've got like a few goals, but we're really trying to build out our systems that can take. Right now, Porter and I are wearing like 3 or 4 hats each.
EOS. EOS.
Yeah.
EOS.
We definitely. I'm gonna reread that again, and then we're
Yeah.
gonna definitely be implementing things. But yeah, we gotta. We're building out systems so that we don't have to wear all the hats all the time. That was one of the bigger pain points for myself, was that, you know, I primarily handle all the sales, and so I'd be doing, you know, visits, you know, appointments all day long, getting measurements, you know, drawing up plans, and then it's 6 p.m. and it's like, okay, now I have to go put together all the estimates, and so I'm getting home at 9:30, still not having finished all the estimates that I have. In the meantime, you know, I'm getting calls of like, hey, you know, we're at this project and this issue came up, or we don't know where to put this, or whatever it is, right? So it's like we're all just scrambling to meet the demands of the day, but we still have our own individual responsibilities of running the business behind the scenes and then doing the sales. And so we're trying to put together systems so that we can focus more on our actual roles. And so right now we're in the process of putting together a system for sales reps to actually be able to train them and make sure that they're efficient. And we're bringing on a project manager. Actually, another friend of mine that I met on my mission.
Awesome.
He's a general contractor in Las Vegas right now, and they're going to be coming up this way to work with us. Again, like just a great guy that I know is going to be able to help us out and knows his stuff and will work hard. Somebody that I feel like I can trust. And so we're just getting the right people in the right seats right now to really set ourselves up for next year, because if we can do that, just what we did this year, but if we had the right people in place, it's like we'd cut out so much waste, like both in time and money, right? And that would just make a huge difference. And then if we actually had somebody who was just fully committed to sales and didn't have to dip their hands into everything else, I mean, we could have sold so many things. Like I went and knocked doors sometimes this year, but not very frequently, because when in the world was I going to have time to go do that, right? Because I'm doing all these other things. And so by the time I'm like, oh, I could go knock doors, it's
Did
like
you get
10
any
p.m.
success with knocking doors?
Yeah.
No way.
That's the thing. I'm like, man, if I had been able to dedicate more time to this, like I think there was maybe 1 or 2 times that I knocked doors that we didn't get a job.
Give me your pitch on it. Like,
Hey,
knock on
I'm
my door.
knocking doors. Do you want an estimate? Like
On your backyard?
like honestly, like you just target like new construction neighborhoods, so everybody needs it.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
You know,
that makes
it's just
sense.
the question is just timing, right? Timing and budget. But you just target new construction neighborhoods. You knock on the door. I would primarily, you know, knock doors after I was visiting a job that we're about to start or something. So it's like, hey, we're doing this one down the road. Just wanted to see if you'd like an estimate. Like super simple, super brief.
Did any of those go through?
Yeah.
Dude,
That's
I
what I'm
love
saying.
that.
I mean, percentage wise, it's not like incredible, but I mean, you go and knock 50 doors and we probably get at least one.
Yeah,
You know?
that's worth it though.
And it took an hour and a half, right? So I'm like, if we had somebody who dedicated to that, we'd have a surplus of business just from that,
awesome.
right?
Yeah.
And so we'd be to the point where like, okay, we need to go hire another crew, and I need to go buy another mini X and another excavator or another skid steer to handle this other additional work.
What kind of skid do you run?
We have 2 Bobcats, so 2 skid steers that are Bobcats, and then we have a Bobcat Mini X, and then we have a smaller Kubota Mini X as well.
My love language.
But
I want those so bad in my life.
just come use them, dude.
Do you have?
Dude, I will.
Do you have like a third party that you can offer financing? Because like these are pretty big installs.
Yeah, so there's a financing company that integrates with our CRM that some people have used, but it maxes out at $25K.
Oh yeah.
So, and it's if the quote is over $25K. So it doesn't even let them like finance a portion of it if it's more than $25K. It just like stops if
Really?
the project value is more than $25K. And then there's some other ones that we haven't really messed with a lot. We just started doing in-house financing, so we just finance the project with
That's awesome.
with our own loan agreement and things, and getting set up as like an actual lender. And so we're kind of exploring that route as well. I think to do that at scale is going to take time because
You gotta have money.
we're going to have to be able to fund large projects.
Yeah, I was about to
Over
say,
a
are
period
your
of
cash
time,
flows
so.
freaking heavy then?
So with the in-house, we've only done one, and it was about a $80,000 project that we financed. They did do a 30% deposit, and then we financed the rest. And so their last payment will be it was a 6-month term, and so their last payment will be in March.
That's
I think.
awesome.
But with just doing the one, it's like, okay,
Interest?
that's fine. In this case, we didn't do interest. It was kind of like just a trial run to see how things go. And we were kind of waiting to get set up as like an official lender, so we didn't really want to get
Go
in
crazy.
hot water with anything. So
Yeah.
So are you going to do interest then?
yeah, that'll be
So
the
what
plan.
is the interest rate going to be at?
Just depends on market rates at the time. I mean, right now for these kind of loans, a lot of them are 13%, kind
Yeah.
of depending on credit and term length and things. But
Is that a pretty common thing for landscape install to
Do it
offer
in-house?
in-house financing?
no,
That's awesome.
No, I think that's cool.
Yeah.
That's killer.
but I mean, I would imagine some do it, but it's if you were doing it at scale, it would hurt cash flow for sure.
Yeah.
Because
for sure.
a lot of what we're doing is very material cost heavy, labor intensive, and obviously labor has to be paid when it has to be paid, right? You can't
Yeah.
just be like, oh, sorry, dude, you're gonna get paid in
You're
2
going to get
months
paid in 2 months.
when
Can I
they
put you on
actually
a
pay us
payment
on this
plan?
project, right? So
Finance
so
your labor.
I could see like there's definitely a barrier to entry to get into that, and so that's where I'm thinking like we'll probably start doing it. Depending on size of project, maybe just 2 or 3 at a time at the most.
You can be selective too.
And we can be selective, like, okay, we know this guy's good for it. You know,
He's got a
there's-
$200,000 boat we can go
right,
get. If,
exactly. And we have an agreement, like we'll lien the house and things like that. And obviously, a lien doesn't get you money unless they sell it. So it's not.
yeah.
If they don't pay you, you're still out of money until they sell in 10 years.
Yeah.
So it definitely would be a hard thing, I think, for companies to do at scale. But over time, it could be something that turns out to be something really beneficial.
That's way cool. That have you thought that? Because I mean, it seems like one thing that you've done is your pipeline is you got a lot that is coming
He's done
in.
with this.
What's helped a lot, honestly, has been that Alpine landscaping brand.
Yeah.
So we made that the beginning of this year. Before it was just the Sprinkler Service Pro and Knockout Concrete.
Yeah.
And, I was kind of like, I want to move into these full installs, larger projects. And I just kind of was like, if I was calling around looking for somebody to do my yard and I knew I needed, a 10-foot tall retaining wall, I'm probably not going to hire Sprinkler Service Pro because even if their website says they do retaining walls, just hearing the name, I'm going to be like, they're probably not the guys for this wall, right? Or anything along those lines, right? It's just like high-end custom work. If I hear Sprinkler Service Pro, while he did a good job of establishing that brand, it just didn't have that sentiment along with it to attract a different type of client. And so that's where I was like, I think we need to start something else here. And so that's where I started out Alpine Landscaping. And the first job we sold from Alpine Landscaping was this massive job in Hobble Creek.
Oh yeah.
Where we've done just like hundreds of linear feet of retaining walls. I think we had over 600 tons of boulders that we used up there, and so I was like, man, like that was for sure the right move,
It's a high end name.
Yeah, and so just by doing that has attracted a lot of clients and different type of clients. I don't know if you've visited our website at all, but I just feel like it appeals more to that type of work.
Yeah.
And so I definitely don't think we have an excess of inbound leads yet. That's what we're working on, but it definitely has brought in a good chunk of business.
So Cameron, this is the slice of success part. What advice would you give to someone listening for business or in life of like having a slice of success that you have right now?
It's hard because I look at my life right now and I'm like, I'm not there yet,
Yeah.
But I feel like, maybe no matter where you are, you'll never feel like you're really there. But for me, I've always just seen it that no matter what you do, you're taking a risk. If you decide, stay at the job that you are and be complacent with it, you're taking a risk there too. It's just delayed, right? Because you don't know how things are going to end up. That business could go under. You could lose your job. You could get laid off. You could get injured and not be able to do that job anymore. There's so many things that are outside of our control that could happen no matter what. And basically any decision we make is going to be a risk. And so if you have an inclination to do something else or to do something more, I feel like you should just do it. Because if not, you're going to turn 75 and you're going to wish that you did, or you're going to wonder, oh, what would it have been like, and this may not work out amazing for me in the end. Like something could happen and things could change, right? And it's not great, or it could be amazing, but at least I'm not going to have a doubt of like what would have happened,
For sure.
or wish that I had done something else, because I know that I did it and I just sent it the whole way.
Just send it, baby.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do your research for sure.
Yeah.
Don't be an idiot.
I love that.
Yeah.
Right when I said that. I saw the logical thinking right there.
Definitely do your research, think it through, and plan for like worst case scenario. Like when I was running numbers before the acquisition, I'm like, okay, let's assume that we take it over and there's a 50% loss in revenue. What does that do to us, right? And just know, okay, like I know our worst case scenario, what we have to hit. I know what's the likelihood that this worst case scenario happens? Am I making my plans based on the perfect situation? Because if so, that might be a problem, right? Because it's not going to be perfect. Like when we took over, all of a sudden there was no work, like immediately.
Yeah.
There was no projects going on, nothing for the guys to do. Within like 3 days, people are like, hey, like I don't have any hours. What are we doing, right? Like we lost employees almost immediately because there was no work. And so you have to plan that, hey, things could go wrong, and what am I going to do about it?
Yeah.
What does this look like? And then make a calculated risk, right? We felt like we made a calculated risk, and things didn't go the way that we initially thought, but we have still managed to make it work because we put in the effort. We had the expectation that things might not go the way we want and everything, right? And so we're just going to work through it if it turned out that way. But yeah, you just gotta take the risk in life.
Absolutely.
For those listening, that is not just sending it.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, for real. Cam, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for being on here. We're
Thanks
out.
for having me.